4 things we can do to improve our sprint start, some of which we can implement today without even leaving our house. A big problem with playing team sports without proper sprint training is you still have to run fast, it's just you're running with bad technique. This means every single time you're training, practicing, and competing, you're reinforcing bad habits over and over again. That's what I'm working on right now with my baseball athlete. He's 6 feet tall, very powerful, but because he never got proper sprint training before, now we're working on rebuilding his technique so that he can transfer that power effectively into speed. If you're like my baseball athlete, here's one thing scientifically shown to make you faster: heavy sled pulls. Although sled pulls are already a well-known strategy to improve sprint performance, we need to understand how to incorporate them effectively. This study examined 53 high school athletes. They split them up into 4 groups: unresisted, light, moderate, and heavy, which caused a 25, 50, and 75% decrease in maximum sprint speed. The results indicated that the greatest improvements in the initial acceleration occurred using much heavier sleds, specifically over the first 10 meters, which makes a lot of sense given the principle of specificity. The closer the movement is to what we are training for, the greater effect it will have. And exploding out of the start is a very similar movement to pushing a heavy sled. Using the sled, you're forced to use these powerful shin angles that we need for speed, and because you're pulling a heavy load, you're working your central nervous system to become more powerful. Here's exactly what they did. In order to produce this result, they performed 2 sled pull sessions per week for 2 months. It was broken into 2 cycles: 3 weeks of increasing intensity with 1 week of reduced workload. Repeated twice for a total of 8 weeks. For those of you who are gonna ask how much weight did they use, they calculated the load based on how it affected their velocity, not relative to their body weight. This is done through load velocity profiling, which is another topic for another video. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to discuss that further. For now, you can use an estimate relative to your body weight. With the heavy group, they found the load to be about 140% of the athlete's body weight. If that sounds like a lot, that's because it is. This was much heavier than previously thought and should be done under the supervision of a qualified coach. If you do need to improve your explosiveness, but you don't have access to a sled, here's what you can do instead. This study conducted an experiment to figure out what are the most optimal plyometric exercises for sprinting. They had each subject perform both the sprinter start and standing start, so you know this applies to nearly every sport that requires you to sprint. They tested several plyometric exercises and found the standing long jumps were one of the most biomechanically similar to sprint starts. Specifically, they found this to have the same horizontal emphasis that is seen in sprinter starts and standing starts. Again, it follows the principle of specificity. When I put together a custom program for an athlete, I'm looking at how does each exercise, drill, and stretch relate to sprinting and the overall goal we're working towards. If we constantly ask that question, it will guide us in the right direction, especially if we're not sure what to focus on in our training. This study examined 4 different types of start positions: long with the arm perpendicular to the ground, long with a forward lean, bunched with the arm perpendicular to the ground, and bunched with a forward lean. These results suggest that a long position with the arm perpendicular to the ground is ideal. This will improve horizontal velocity through the 2 meters, which is exactly what many of us struggle with. This is a general recommendation, meaning it won't necessarily apply to everyone, especially since we all have different measurements in terms of arm and leg length, torso to limb ratio, and range of mobility. There's always outliers who have a different technique than everyone else. Even if you're not a track athlete, this will still benefit you because improving a block start will improve your explosiveness. The next key point will apply to every athlete of every sport. Keep in mind, the things I share with you through these videos are simply tools, but what's even more important is how we put these tools together into a successful program. If you need help with that, you can book a free consultation using the link in the description. This study was conducted with 24 elite athletes to see if a visual meditation had an impact on their sprint start. They recorded their reaction time from the starting blocks as well as their 30-meter time. Their findings revealed that visual meditation had a significant effect on performance, which occurred after just 15 minutes of daily visualization for only 2 weeks.
I meditate every day, and I do it in the mornings, and I do it for about 10 to 15 minutes. Seeing the poise that we play with, the fact that we can be in a hostile environment with fans yelling and screaming and pressure situations, and it having no effect on us.
This may not be as exciting as doing heavy sled pulls or as easy as making a quick fix to your technique. However, the science supports its effectiveness and it can be done from your couch without ever leaving your home. If you're really serious about improving your start, you can use a force velocity profile. This is a tool to figure out exactly what you need to focus on, and this video goes over exactly what it is and how to do it. You can click here right now to watch this video next.